Hi everyone, my name is Marta, and today we are going to explain the procedure of the family reunification visa. The first thing, what is the family reunification visa in Spain? So this is the first consideration that we have to take in mind. Uh, so what I was saying before is that in Spain we have two different types of family reunification visas. One is the one that I'm going to explain today, and the other one it's called a family member of European Union citizens. Okay, it's very important to distinguish both procedures. So, in case some European Union citizen tries to bring one of their family members in Spain, cannot apply through the permit that I'm going to explain today. Okay, so imagine that one person from Spain wants to bring his wife or husband from United States, then they have to apply for the permit as a family member of European Union citizen. Okay, but imagine that one guy from Colombia wants to bring his wife that she's living in Colombia and she's citizen from Colombia. In that case, they have to apply for the family reunification visa, the one that I'm going to explain today. Okay, so this is very important. Today, it's only for those non-European Union citizens. Okay, and then let's continue. Yeah, someone is asking me. I still don't get the difference. Yeah, this permit that I'm going to explain today, it's only for those citizens who are not from the European Union area. Okay, in case that you are from India, Pakistan, United States, Canada, Colombia, Venezuela. Okay, uh, okay, this would be the procedure. Uh, I think it's better today. I'm going to explain everything first, and afterwards you can ask me any kind of question or inquiry that you could have. Okay, in case that I'm not explaining well, or that's something that can make you a confusion. A confusion. A ver. Okay, so this is important. Which are the family members you can bring to Spain? According to the immigration law, you can bring your parents, your spouse or your civil partnership, your kids, and also the putative children. So, according to the law, you are eligible, let's say, to apply for all these family members. The first thing about the spouse and civil partner. In Spain, the same-sex marriage is valid. So, in case you are married with someone from your same sex, you could do this procedure for him or for her. And also in Spain, it is valid what we call pareja de hecho. In English, it's civil partnership. So you could bring the spouse or your civil partner. Okay, there is no difference to do this procedure. Then also, of course, you could bring in Spain all your kids, your son or your daughter under 18 years old. This also includes what we call in Spanish putative children. That it means that you could make the residence permit for the son or the daughter of your spouse or your civil partner. So imagine that Colombian guy that we are saying before, he has no children, but imagine that her current spouse or her current civil partnership, she has uh, with her with her previous couple one kid or two kids. In this case, his current husband could apply for her and also for the kids, even if he's not the father. Okay, so this is important. And then um, about the parents, this is like a complicated issue because according to the law, it is possible to bring your parents in Spain, but according to our practice, let's say it's very very complicated to get an approval to bring the parents here. Okay, because like the legal requirements to bring the parents are more strict than than the rest of the family members, let's say. In case of the parents, it is mandatory that your parents must be 65 years old or more. So if your parents are 50 or 45 or 59, it's not possible. Okay, so this is the first requirement, to be 65 years old. Then it is mandatory as well to prove that your parents are economically dependent on you. Okay, dependent on the person who's trying to reunify the family in Spain. And then it would be also like great in some way to show that the parents has no incomes in their country. For example, that they are not receiving any pension in the country, or in case they have a pension, it's very low. So in some way, is the key is like proving that your parents depend 10% on you. That in case that you could not provide such economical help, uh, they could not come to Spain. Okay, they could not live. Sorry. So this is the family members you could bring to Spain. Then the process and the legal steps. This is very important because the family reunification has a proper and different procedure respect to the other immigration process. Uh, there are two steps in the procedure. Okay, the first step is the person who is already resident in Spain and is trying to bring their family here. He or she has to apply in Spain for the residence permit on behalf of their family members. Okay, this is the first thing. Then once the procedure is approved, then on the basis of the positive resolution, the person who is in another state and is trying to come here, like let's say the reunified person, has to apply for a visa in the Spanish embassy in that country. Okay, so the first thing is applying in Spain for the approval of the immigration office, and once the immigration office approves the family reunification, there is a second step in the Spanish embassy of your country. Okay, then the Spanish embassy will approve a visa and will put a kind of a sticker on the passport of each applicant. Okay, on the basis of this visa, all these family members who were trying to come to Spain, they will be able to come on the basis of this visa, and then they would receive the residence permit as a family members of that person. Okay. This is the legal process that I was trying to explain. So the Spanish resident initiates the application at the immigration office, and then once it is approved, that person has to get the visa at the Spanish consulate in the country. Okay, and then they will be able to enter into Spain according to that visa. That were the main requirements to apply for the family reunification permit. Okay. So what I was saying before was that it is only possible to apply for the family reunification in case that the person who's trying to bring their family has a residence permit valid for more than 1 year. Okay, so imagine that someone wants to bring his husband from Canada, and the person who is in Spain is resident under the non-lucrative visa. Okay, the initial non-lucrative visa is valid only for 1 year. So in this case, that person will not eligible will be not eligible to apply for the family reunification unless he applies for the renewal, and once the renewal is approved, the renewal will be valid for 2 years. Then he or she can apply for the family members to bring to Spain. Okay. Another example. Imagine that someone from India is living in Spain under the long-term visa. The long-term visa is valid for 5 years. Okay, then in this case, that person can start directly the procedure to bring their family here. Okay, because her permit or his permit is already valid for 5 years. It's not an initial one. Okay, so this consideration is very important. Then the second thing that you should keep in mind is only to bring the parents it is mandatory to be holder of a long-term visa. Okay, so if you want to bring your spouse, your civil partner, your kids, or the kids of your spouse, it is only mandatory to have a residence permit valid for 2 years or more. But if you are trying to bring your parents, it's compulsory that you have to be holder of a 5 years card. Okay, you have to be holder of the long-term visa. Okay, this is very important because otherwise, if you do it before, the the application will be rejected directly according to this. Okay. Then, what is also important to know about the family reunification? Uh, in in any immigration office from Spain, they ask to prove that you have a proper housing. Okay, how you can prove this? Um, the, I mean, before starting the procedure of the family reunification, you should go to the city hall where are you living and applying for a house report. Okay, in Spanish it's called informe de vivienda. You need to go to the city hall with your rental contract or your purchase deed, and also with the invoices, utilities invoices such as gas, electricity, or water, and and they will prepare this house report, considering the type of house that you have, and also to see if this house is proper to bring any other person to live into this house. Okay, so what they do is the city hall will call to a public architect, and an architect will come to your apartment to make a measures of every single space in your house. Okay, to be sure that in case you're bringing your spouse or your kids, they will have a proper space in the house. Okay, and this is very important. Actually, if you cannot prove that you have a proper housing, the application will be rejected as well. Okay. Also, it is very important that you know that once you ask for the family reunification, it is mandatory to submit this document. So imagine that you are still waiting to receive the house report from the city hall, but you have all the other documents, and you start the procedure. In this case, the process will be rejected directly because you don't have because you are not showing the house report. Okay, so this document, it's very very important, one of the most important documents from all the process. Okay, then uh, we have spoke about the residence permit in Spain, the minimum residency time spent in the country, and also about the proper housing. Then another important requirement is about the economical means. Obviously, if you are thinking about bringing any family member from your country, you need to demonstrate to the immigration office that you have sufficient means to bring your family here. Then, how you can prove this? So, this will depend on the type of job or the type of contract that you have in Spain. There are three ways to prove it. One way is showing that you have sufficient funds in your account in Spain. Okay, so that, for example, that you have the non-lucrative visa, you are not working in Spain, but you have sufficient means to bring all of them in Spain without working. Okay, this would be one option. Second option is in case that you are working for some company. Okay, that you have a residence permit called cuenta ajena. And the third option is in case you are autonomo, you are a self-employed worker. Okay. So about the workers who are working in some other company or working for any type of employer, uh, they have to show that the official work contract, the last declaration of the renta. Okay, the individual tax that you have to submit yearly, because here the immigration office will check all the incomes that you received last year. Okay, then you also have to show the 6 last payrolls. Okay, the 6 last nominas in Spanish that you receive from your company. Also, you can show the vida laboral. Okay, so these four documents would be compulsory. I repeat again, just in case. Copy of the contract, last declaration of the renta, six last payrolls, and vida laboral. Okay, then it is important to know that the immigration office in Barcelona, for example, they ask for an additional requirement. They ask that the person who tries to bring their family here has to be working in the same company a minimum of 1 year. Okay, so imagine that someone is starting to work in a company, and in your vida laboral it only appears that you were working for 2 months. In that case, it will be difficult to get the family reunification, because the criteria is to show that you have that you are continuously working in the same company last year, or a minimum of or 10-11 months. Okay, then in case that you are a self-employed worker, in that case you need to show the last declaration of the renta that you did last year. In For example, if you would apply right now, you should show the renta of this year, okay? According to the incomes you received in 2019. And also the tax declarations 130 and 131. These tax declarations, if you are working with some historia or some accountant that is preparing your taxes, he or she will provide it to you. So you don't need to do anything extra. Let's say you have already done it. Okay. Then what else? You need also, of course, to demonstrate the family link with your family members. It means that if you are trying to bring your spouse, you need to show the marriage certificate. The marriage certificate has a validity of 6 months in case the marriage was done out of Spain. Okay, so in case you were married 10 years ago or 1 year ago, this marriage certificate will not be valid for this permit. Okay, you should ask to the authorities of your country for an updated marriage certificate. In case you are bringing your civil partnership, you have to ask again. You have to ask also for the registration of the pareja de hecho. Okay, usually those who are applying for the family reunification as a pareja de hecho, they are doing it because the civil partnership was done in Spain. So in that case, they have to ask for an updated version of the pareja de hecho. Okay. In case you're bringing your kids, uh, you have to prepare the birth certificate of them. And in case you are bringing the kids of your spouse or the kids of your pareja de hecho, in this case you need the birth certificate, but also the other father or mother of the kid should give power of attorney to the mother or the father who's applying for the residence permit to bring the kid here. Okay, because related to all minors, for everybody who is under 18 years old, it's mandatory that both parents agrees to bring the kid here. Okay, even one of the parents is not living in Spain, so the power of attorney will be mandatory. Okay. Then the private health insurance, it is only mandatory in case the person who is reunifying, or he's trying to bring the family here, is not working. Okay. In case the person resident in Spain is already working, there is no need to prepare a private health insurance. Okay. And also another requirement that is not written here, but I'm just telling you, the person who is living in Spain has to show the volante de convivencia. It means the registration at the city hall. Okay, this registration at the city hall states or shows how many people is living in the same apartment. Okay, so it is important to show as well the empadronamiento. Okay, it's called volante de convivencia. And the last requirement, it is only for those who are bringing the spouse or pareja de hecho. In this case, it's mandatory to sign an affidavit, like, yeah, a kind of affidavit stating that you are not living in Spain with any other couple or any other spouse. This can be obviously for everybody, but it's but it's not so obviously because there are some regulations in other countries that allows men, for example, to live with other wives. So in Spain, as this is prohibited by law, it is not allowed. Anybody who's trying to bring their spouse or their pareja de hecho, that person has to sign this affidavit. Okay, and this would be all the requirements. Then, well, the following point is how to renew this residence permit. Before saying this, it is very important that you have to know that all the residence permits who will be that will be granted as a family reunification, okay, this permit will be valid for the same time as the person who is bringing their family. Um, I mean, let's say, imagine that someone has a residence permit valid right now until 2025, okay? And I am bringing my husband from India. Okay, once my husband arrives to Spain, his residence permit will be until 2025. So his permit, as will be linked with mine, his validity will be exactly the same as mine. Okay, so the renewal of the family reunification will be done at the same period that the person who was already resident in Spain and brought their family here is renewing the permit. Okay, so imagine a couple, they would be renewing the residence permit at the same time. Okay, but please note one thing, that in case someone is holding a long-term visa and brings their family here, their family will have a residence permit valid for 5 years, but it will not be considered as a long-term visa. It will be considered as a temporary residency. Okay, this is the only thing you should keep in mind. And then, as I was saying, how to renew this residence permit. So as any type of residence permit, the legal period to renew the family reunification visa is 60 days before the expiration date of your card and 90 days after. Okay, so you have uh, about 5 months already to renew the card. Okay, and then you should renew the residence permit according to the like the main holder of the card. Okay, so if the person who was living in Spain was working, you can submit again his job contract, and the requirements are almost like the same as you did before. Okay, and